hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X as well as on YouTube. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that retweet button. Now, this show is pre-recorded, so if you're chatting with me in that live chat, I am sorry. I had to run out and get some errands done this morning before I go live on in-game live later today. So make sure you do still interact with this video. I love the live chat and everything you guys throw out there. I will have the recap at the end of the show, as well as going over those players for the points that I'm liking. Now, we did see Toronto stay alive last night, getting the 2-0 win in Florida over the Panthers, and now they will go to Game 7. Game 7 set to drop the puck tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, with Florida being the favorite on the road at minus 128, plus 106 for Toronto. So early looks on that. I do think Florida is going to be able to get it done. I have them for the series, though. So should I hedge? That will be a conversation we will have tomorrow. We've got a total of 5.5 in that one. Let's jump into today's matchup. 8:10 Eastern, we'll see the matchup between the Winnipeg Jets and the Dallas Stars. Now, the Dallas Stars fought off elimination in that last game, and they're looking to do so again. But the storyline is, last game they were at home, able to get that 4-0 shutout as Connor Hellebuyck on fire at home. 2 shutouts in a row, the second time in his career in the postseason since 2018 was the last time he was able to get it done. And it's quite a feat for goaltenders to be able to do that. So he had a stellar game. 2 4-0 shutouts. He played better in Game 4 in Dallas than we've seen him out there on the road. So that last game at home, Game 4 in Dallas, he looked stronger. So now we're looking at, can Connor Hellebuyck get over something he hasn't been able to get over all postseason here and get a win on the road? We know the Winnipeg Jets this season were a strong road team. So what are we going to do with this one? They're a plus 126 dog coming into Dallas as Dallas looks to close this out tonight in Game 6, and the Winnipeg Jets look to fight again and take it back home to Winnipeg for Game 7. Total of 5.5. The 5.5 is minus 114 to the under, minus 106 to the over. And I do fear with elimination games taking that total. What I do like doing, though, in these elimination games is looking at the first period. The first period under 1.5 goals is definitely the way I'm going to go. I'm looking for both of these defenses to come out nice and solid, and both goaltenders to come out solid to start this game. The third period over 1.5, just to note, it's minus 172, where the first period over 1.5 is like minus 120. So the books are trending to think as we go on in this game. That third period, why we see it minus 172 for the over 1.5 is the fear of empty netters. Now, I'm not sure we get an empty netter in this one. I do think this one has every possibility of going to overtime. So looking at this game to go to overtime, the overtime bet's coming in at plus 330. I'll take the under 1.5 in the first period, the overtime bet at plus 330, and then I'm going to look at a team total. Winnipeg has to score in this game. They cannot win this, I don't think, here on the road 2-1 because of the issues we've seen with Connor Hellebuyck. If Winnipeg is to win this game, they have to go over 2.5 goals, in my opinion. Now, could that come in overtime? Absolutely. Make sure when you bet that team total that it is including overtime and not just a 60-minute line on the Winnipeg Jets. I was able to get it over 2.5, including overtime at minus 116. Now, Winnipeg, like I said, they struggled on the road, 0-5 in the playoffs out there on the road this season. They're also 0-2 in all-time Game 6s. So not great trends here to back Winnipeg. You guys know I did. I backed them yesterday at plus 128. The line moved a little bit less than I expected. It's now plus 126 here for the Winnipeg Jets. So you lost a couple points if you didn't jump in on it. But I do think we see game number 7. We've seen the Dallas Stars 5-1 at home in the playoffs thus far. They're 13-13 in franchise history in all-time in Game 6s. So they're 50-50 in these Game 6s. Now, Jamie Benn, I would have hoped for the Winnipeg Jets' sake he would have been suspended in that last game. That was a nasty hit he threw on Mark Scheifele. Now, he was fine $5,000 for that hit, but he will be out there playing. What we saw in Game 5 out of the Winnipeg Jets, if they can bring this into Dallas, if they can get Connor Hellebuck out of his head out there on the road, they have every chance of winning. In Game 5, we saw that power play convert. We saw them limit the shots on goal and kill off the Stars' opportunities on the power play. That's exactly what the Jets have to do again. So if you don't believe the Jets can do that on the road, don't bet the Jets today. Look at the Dallas Stars and look at the reg. I do think if Dallas wins, it's in reg. If the Jets win, it probably goes to OT. So that OT bet coming in at plus 330, I will be hitting on. So looking at Game 5 and what we saw out there, like I said, Dallas had the power play opportunities. They went 0-4 on the power play. They were physical, 33 hits, 22 shots on goal. But we did see the Jets. They won those faceoffs, 52.3% of the faceoffs, 2-5 on that power play. So the power play converted 52 hits. They were super physical out there, 35 shots on goal. Those shots were coming. Jake Ottinger will eventually let those goals in when they keep peppering him like that. That's exactly what I want to see out of the Winnipeg Jets. They need to rush Jake Ottinger. Now, one thing that holds true is Mikko Rantanen. You can't hold him down for long. Mikko Rantanen in Game 5 for the Dallas Stars, quiet, not a single point on the board. We know this team got shut out, so no way for him to get points. I would look at sprinkling Mikko Rantanen for 2+ points tonight. Top line, top power play. I think this game opens up, especially in that third period. I could see a 3-4 win even in overtime for the Winnipeg Jets. I think things really open. So Mikko Rantanen at plus 190 for 2+ points. Top line, top power play unit. Now, he had 2 or more points in 3 of his last 4 home games in the playoffs as well. So he's proven in the playoffs so far, 19 points, 9 goals, 10 assists in the 12 playoff games. And then on the other side, you got to look at Kyle Connor. Kyle Connor for 2+ points coming in at plus 200. Kyle Connor, top line, top power play unit here for the Winnipeg Jets. 4 points over his last 3 games. So Kyle Connor is in that mode right now where he's scoring these points. Game 3 is where I want to look at him for those shots on goal. You look at him the last time they played in Dallas, because they played, of course, Game 1 and Game 2 in Winnipeg. We saw Game 3 and Game 4 in Dallas. In Game 3 in Dallas, if he can come out like that, he had 7 shots on net. I do expect him to be able to get those shots on net tonight and convert. So 2+ points here for Kyle Connor coming in at plus 200. In the postseason, 16 points, 5 goals, and 11 assists. And the 12 postseason games. Now, you're looking for value. I'm looking for value. You know we love to go there. Looking at those secondary lines here, but still top power play. You got to look at Ehlers. Ehlers for the Winnipeg Jets coming in at minus 115 for a point. Yeah, not great plus money, but we're still getting minus 150. Then I also like Cole Perfetti. Cole Perfetti is on the second line with Ehlers. He's also on the top power play unit with Ehlers. So he's on the second power play unit. Ehlers is on the second line with Perfetti and the top power play unit with Kyle Connor. And then Cole Perfetti is on the second line with Ehlers and on the second power play unit. I think both of these guys have the opportunity of putting up a plate. Cole Perfetti's coming in at plus 164. So I'll take Ehlers for the point at minus 115, Cole Perfetti for a point at plus 164. But you guys know I'm greedy. I did parlay them together. Both guys for the point tonight, parlayed together at plus 252. So that's Ehlers for a point and Cole Perfetti for a point, and they're coming in at plus 252. I do think that second line will be scoring a goal tonight. When we look at the defenseman, I want to look at here for the Winnipeg Jets, it is Josh Morrissey for the point. He's coming in at plus 115. He's on that top D-line and on the top power play, so he is riding there with Kyle Connor. If Kyle Connor is getting 2 points, Josh Morrissey is part of that. So that is where I'm going to go, you guys. I do also have a 4-leg same game parlay. I'm going to be giving it out on the grid later tonight. But so you guys have it. It is Kyle Connor for 3+ shots on goal at minus 164. Ehlers for 3+ shots on goal at minus 168. Mikko Rantanen for 3+ shots on goal at plus 100. And Wyatt Johnston for 2+ shots on goal at minus 160. Parlayed all 4 of those together at plus 695. So I love the value at plus 695 for those guys. If I was a little worried about one of them, it would be Ehlers for the 3+. I could see him getting a goal and 2 shots on goal tonight. So that's kind of concerning. Same with Mikko Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen tends to score when he's shooting. I would look at 2+ if you want to, but that's a hard one to do because 2+ is like plus 550. You got to take him up to 3+. Those shots on goal parlays are hard to hit. I try to combine them with other things. They just won't let me combine them. I do think we're going to get the shots. I do think we're going to get the goaltenders standing up as well. This is going to be an interesting matchup between these two teams. So recap time. Give me the Winnipeg Jets to get the win. I took them yesterday at plus 128. It's plus 126 now on FanDuel. Give me the first period under 1.5 goals at minus 110. Give me the Jets team total over 2.5 goals at minus 116. And give me OT. The OT bet coming in at plus 330. When we look at players and their props, give me Kyle Connor for the Winnipeg Jets for 2+ points at plus 200. Give me Mikko Rantanen for 2+ points at plus 190. And then I'm going to look at Ehlers for the Jets for a point at minus 115. I'm going to look at Cole Perfetti for a point at plus 164. And then I'm going to be greedy, parlaying them together at plus 252. On that second line together, I do think they both will score a point off of one of their goals. Hopefully it is Ehlers for that goal, as he's been lighting that lamp for us. And then Josh Morrissey for the point at plus 112. If you want to look at some other players for the Dallas Stars, I recommend Wyatt Johnston over anyone other than Mikko Rantanen, because this young player has been just phenomenal in the playoffs this season and last. So you guys, all the best in all of your bets again. Thank you so much for joining me here for Puck It with Jo. Make sure you hit that like, hit that retweet button, and hit that subscribe button over on YouTube. Join me later today on In-Game Live on the Grid, and stay tuned for my Cup of Jo. We'll see you later today. Bye.